Staying in the Sun Belt, but going from the east to the west, we now have Texas State, a 5.5-point road favorite at Southern Miss. How about that, where they projected to be in the preseason here? This game has an over-under of 62.5 points, and it kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Southern Miss, they lose their starting corner, Brendan Tolles. He's out for the season. He wasn't playing very well, but he's still a starter, so Southern Miss believed that's the best that they could put out there at corner at that position. On the other side, I absolutely love what G.J. Kinney's done so far. I don't think it's a fluke by any stretch. They're inside the top 90 in my aggregated power ratings near Western Kentucky. Again, tell me that preseason. I wouldn't have believed you for a second, although I would have been excited because I am a little partial to the Texas State Bobcats, my former employer. Texas State, though, their front seven, pretty darn good. They have this guy, Ben Bell. I think I brought him up on the podcast before, but he's a dominator on the defensive line. He actually leads the entire country in pass rush win rate, nearly 40%. This is a guy that almost on half his snaps is beating the guy across from him, which is just outstanding. As a team, they're 19th in EPA per rush allowed and top 50 in sack rate. Again, they carried that pretty decent defense over from last year, but they had a lot of turnover, and with the new offense, kind of expected it to take a step back or maybe not be as good as it was last year, but that's just not been the case. They've actually, in my opinion, better. What is Southern Miss's entire offense game plan? Frank Gore Jr. That's it. That's the engine of their offense. He was banged up last week, but he still toted the rock 20 times for 132 yards. It's a very Frank Gore Jr. line. I don't think Southern Miss has a quarterback on their roster capable of even completing a forward pass. I also want to know, dude, what happened last week? What are we doing, guys? You lost to Arkansas State. You lost 44 points to Arkansas State. Were they last in your power ratings? They're last in a lot of power ratings.
Yeah, they were. They are no longer, but that was about as brutal as it gets for just an unexpected loss and like a gut punch to how good are we?
Yeah, and they got pushed around by Arkansas State's offensive line. Like really pushed, like 2+ line yards a carry pushed around. Not great. I think losing defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong to Florida was just a massive blow because they can't really rely on the defense anymore. That used to be their MO. Their offense could be as bad and inefficient as it is, but their defense was always going to be the saving grace. Not so this year. I think they're just overall a bad football team now.
Yeah, I have Texas State minus 4.5 to 63% win expectancy. You'll love this, Brett. The Bobcats' power rating has improved 8.1 points since the preseason. That's 5th most nationally and best among G5 teams. The defense has actually been slightly worse than I projected, now ranks in the mid-80s. But the offense has been so much better than preseason expectations that it hasn't mattered. I projected the offense to be second worst in the nation. It's now playing like the number 77 unit. That's an improvement of 55 spots. It's significant. Goodness. It's dramatic. And again, like Colorado and like USC last year, Texas State is a team that we did talk about in the preseason of, hey, there's so much new. And when there's that much new, it's hard to project accurately what they're going to look like. I understand that. We know this. And the model missed because of all that new, and it's gelled much better than the model had anticipated. So learning, we incorporate it, and we move forward. But yes, Texas State has been much better than we expected, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Texas State's 3 wins are 1.7 more than I projected at this point in the season. That makes the Bobcats my number 3 biggest overachievers to date. They should have the advantage on both sides of the ball in this one. And for as good as Texas State has been this season, Southern Miss has been that bad. The Golden Eagles are down 6.4 points in the power ratings compared to the preseason. That's 7th worst nationally. The offense is down 10 spots. They're now sub 100. The defense is down 25 spots. They're now number 114. There's no spinning it. It's been a disappointing start to the season for Southern Miss, especially, as we just talked about, the loss at Arkansas State last week. Really no words. Like, that's just, yep, we just did that, and yikes is all you can say. My numbers currently favor the Golden Eagles in only 2 games left this season. As a result, their chances to go bowling have fallen from 52% in the preseason to just 5% currently. When I was making my notes for this episode and this game came up, that right there, that 1 point, as I looked at what are their preseason to current bowl projections, 52-5. I now want to compile a list and put it out there of who has seen the biggest movement, both in the positive and negative directions. I would be surprised if a team has gone more negative than Southern Miss, but I will follow up on that and post that out there. So to recap, I have got Texas State minus 4.5. It's a 37% that Southern Miss surprises us and gets it done here. All else equal, what does this do to the conference standings? Texas State currently the third best chance to make it to the Sun Belt Championship game at 18%. With a win, that jumps to 23%. With a loss, it's down to 8%. Southern Miss, you're at a 1% chance right now. If you win, you're at 3%. If you lose, you're 0-2 in the conference, and it drops to less than 1%.
Now, I'm a little confounded by this, and usually when I use those words, it's because I don't understand. In the line moved off of Southern Miss +7 to now +5.5, and that's not insignificant because it came off that key figure 7. If this were to have happened like right away, like it dropped, and then in the hours afterwards, Southern Miss may have taken some money. I said, okay, maybe those that are betting, maybe their models haven't really caught up to Texas State, because I personally, in this game, lean Texas State, but it happened on Wednesday. And that, to me, means that there is an influential betting group out there that did their homework, that has their numbers, and knows what these teams are, that still said 7 points is too darn many for Southern Miss at home. And that spooks me a little bit, so I won't be making a play on the spread here. Last time I said I was confused by the line movement, that was that Navy-Memphis game. That was just disgusting to watch, and a lost bet overall. But the side that I do like here, I like under 62.5. It was 60.5. It moved up Tuesday a little bit, but I don't think Southern Miss's offense is good enough to score against a quality defense. And Texas State, I believe, is a quality defense. There's no pace concerns from Southern Miss. They're 80th in seconds per play, so they're not going to be running 100 miles an hour. And 62, boy, that's a lot of points, man. It's a lot of points for two teams that we've seen Texas State score 13 in the game. So it's not like they're barn burners, 40-point shootouts. They can rely on their defense to win games. And I don't think Southern Miss is nearly talented enough to be able to put up their bargain. This line almost feels like they looked just isolated at the Arkansas State game and said, yeah, about that.
Well, Brett, I won't argue with that's a lot of points, but come on, man. You know what happened. The Vegas put out their line. I dropped the K-Ford projected line Tuesday morning, and the market adjusted. Come on, we know how this works. I'm kidding.
Maybe. I mean, they do factor these power ratings into account when you consider. I mean, like, SP Plus, you can't just use the SP Plus or FPI to bet anymore.
Totally.
Market folds it in. So.
Yep.